an antique Voss cutlery pocket knife. This one's a older one. Has no brass inside of it. It's all steel. This knife would have been in competition with like a Barlow back in the day. It's got the pin blades. You can see it's got the Voss with the arrow through it, the US. It's an old American company, and this is one that's been kept in pretty good shape. It was in a writing desk. Somebody's used it for making quill pens, so it's not seen a whole lot of use. But it's got a nice color to it still. It's not got no rust in it. But these pocket knives were originally intended for making pens and sharpening pencils back in the day. They were pretty much your utensil for making writing utensils. This one don't have any kind of logo on the outside. It's just got the bone in it. But they would generally carried these for making pens. That's how they got their name, pen blade. Nowadays you don't see pen blades anymore. They're pretty much obsolete because nobody's making quill pens with their pocket knife anymore. But these would have been generally carried by about everyone back in the day. They were pretty much universal for making writing utensils, and a lot of times you'll find these in old writing desks and in places where people generally wrote letters and did their paperwork. You'd find these in a lot of drawers and old desks and stuff. But that's what this one's been used for. That's why the blade's not all messed up. But they would generally have a quill, and how these got their name was basically you had a small one for making smaller quill pens, and then you got the bigger one for making bigger quills. But they were basically, the point was basically designed to where you could split it right here, and then you could shave it off at an angle and get it however you wanted it to write, however you wanted to write. You had a bigger blade for making a bigger quill pen, and then you had the smaller blade. This would have been probably a smaller blade quill right here. You could see just how well the belly of it's made for splicing it. Nowadays, the closest thing that we have to a pen blade would be a spay blade, and it would have the similar shape on the end of it that you could use for making a quill pen if you had to. But the general purpose of these was mainly for writing purposes. They were just a knife that they would carry. This one don't have any brass inside of it. It's all constructed out of steel. As you can see inside, it's still pretty clean. Maybe been carried once or twice in its time, but it's general purpose has been using for doing writing with. Now, this is the oldest style of knife. It goes way back in time. The two-bladed with both blades on one side. It's been a really old design for a long, long time. But this is how most people would have made their writing utensils back in the day. But some people would use them for peeling their fruit, apples and stuff like that too. But someone's used this one basically for just making quill pens and sharpening pencils. The pencil sharpener back then was probably quite expensive. You could pick up a pocket knife a lot cheaper. You could use it for a lot more purposes. So most people and most kids back in the day would carry these. They would sharpen pencils and make their own quill pens and stuff. But that's just part of the old history. Knives are starting to change and we're starting to get different blades. And a lot of people's kind of wondering what the purpose of these two-bladed knives were. That was the general use for them. That's what they were originally intended for, and that's why both blades are identical. Now we've got all these different blades that's got different shapes and different purposes. But your original knife was originally started out as pen blades and making pens and writing, using them for writing purposes mostly. But that's one of the early versions. It's still in good shape.